How you talk on the phone in the sales world is easily one of the most important skills you need in the post-COVID era. If you're going to sell in 2025 and 2026, your phone abilities is probably what I would put my top priority on if I did not have that down. And I'm going to completely reconstruct how you look at talking on the phone today. I'm going to give you 4 things that you can use in the real world right now that will teach you how to properly handle phone calls. Now, why do I even know how to do this? I have trained over 1,000 salespeople. When I started my career about 13 years ago, I was the head sales trainer for the largest car dealership in the United States that exclusively sold over the phone. They had no lot traffic and they only sold over the phone. And since then, I have helped all kinds of businesses across America learn how to make proper sales teams in the digital age. So I'm going to break this down for you guys today, and I'm going to show you what it takes to tee up a proper phone call. And I know in the sales world, things can sound corny, okay? I know that there's a lot of motivational quotes and a lot of jargon that can make us feel good at that point in time, but doesn't actually apply to what we're doing on the daily basis. Everything I'm gonna show you in this today is something you can actually apply this month, next month, 6 months from now, when you actually handle the phone calls. Now, in the past, let's say you're in a car dealership, a lot of your business would be customers that were actually on the lot in person sitting at your desk, and that's just not the era we're in anymore. In fact, the majority of leads come in an email, then text, then phone calls, then in person. But if you can learn how to handle phone calls even better than you do in person, I'd rather have someone right now in this day and age that can handle phone calls better than they can people in person to be able to crush it in sales. So let's dive in. I got 4 sections for you here, okay? We got Eeyore versus enthusiasm, length of call, open-ended questions, and either-or questions. This is probably going to be unlike any other phone training you've ever seen before. I've never seen any sales training like this before, and I've done this at dealerships all across the nation. I've never seen someone repeat the same exact things before. So let's go over here with what I think is one of the most important ones, because the reason I have them structured the way that I do is these are all important, but if you miss some of them, the rest of them are irrelevant. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. If you sound like Eeyore versus having enthusiasm on the phone, if you sound like Eeyore, then you can apply the rest of the stuff that I'm giving you here, and it's not really going to matter because you sound like freaking Eeyore on the phone. You got to remember, and this is really, really hard in the sales world. When you are talking to a customer, whether you and your wife are having an argument, you're having a bad day, bad month, whatever is going on, okay, to that customer, that's irrelevant to them. They are excited. They are, most of the time, if you're in sales, that person has some level of excitement, a little bit of fear because they're taking a risk, but they have some level of excitement on what they're about to do. So if they call your dealership, let's use a car dealership, for example. Okay, if they call your dealership and you sound like Eeyore, instead of having enthusiasm, you're not really gonna stand out from the rest of the salespeople. The average person, when they press go on searching for a car, is gonna get contacted by 5 dealerships. You need to be the person that stands out. Now, let's say you sell life insurance, okay? Let's say you sell life insurance. Life insurance is not that exciting of a thing to sell. So if you sound like Eeyore, it's just gonna make that process that much worse. So everything that we're talking about today, you need to have enthusiasm in what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you are feeling. It doesn't matter what you are doing. Hey guys, with almost 200,000 collective followers between TikTok, YouTube, and all the different platforms, we do not take paid sponsors. We do not do paid ads on any of the social media, not even on TikTok. What I do is I promote my company, Prodigy Prospect, okay? You guys can go to prodigyprospect.com to check it out. And what we're doing is we're going around to sales teams around the nation. Our bread and butter is car dealerships, but we work with sales teams in all different forms and fashions. If you sell over the phone, over the internet, leads, text, email. That's what we come and set you up on. We set you up with a proper process, with phone scripts, with proper process, with the whole psychology behind emails. How many salespeople have you heard say, yeah, I just got an email only lead, it kind of sucks. You need them to look at those like a gold mine, especially in the digital era we're at right now. So check out projectprospect.com. Pick a time to meet with me. It's totally free to see how we can help you. If you have a good management team, chances are your management team has told you before that you're an actor. Okay, you're an actor. Maybe not everyone's management team. There's probably other ones that haven't said that are good, but you're an actor. When you step up into the sales on the sales floor or whatever sales world you're in, you're an actor. Meaning that regardless of how you're feeling at home or regardless of what you got going on in your life, the customer or the lead that you're about to talk to doesn't truthfully care about what you're feeling. So carry the enthusiasm in everything. This fixes so many problems that people don't realize they're having. Simply adding enthusiasm. Now, with that, I'm going to jump over here to length of call real quick. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty part in a second. I'm going to jump over to length of call, okay? The length of call is so important because when I go and I help a dealership and I build a sales script for them, I'm a strong believer in sales script, and I'll explain to you why in a little bit. But when I go and do that and I listen to phone calls, I can't tell you how many phone calls I've listened to. It's in the tens of thousands. A lot of times, what people are missing is just these two things. They don't have any enthusiasm, and the length of their call is too short. They're not talking to people. You can't answer the phone, find someone a vehicle, or find someone a life insurance policy, or find someone whatever they're looking for, and build rapport with them and do all of that in 5 minutes. It's impossible. You can't do it. You're not going to properly build rapport with the customer. And when I was a sales manager back in the day, okay, so one of the things I would ask the team members when they come up and they ask me for a price, I would say, hey, tell me 3 things about your customer. Why are they buying this? What do they do for a living? So on and so forth. Tell me about your customer. And a lot of times they couldn't answer that because the length of the call was 4 minutes. Or the length of the call was 2 minutes. If you want to know why your relationship with customer is just back to price constantly, chances are it has a lot to do with the length of your call. And a lot of people don't want to realize that about themselves. You should get excited the further out your call gets. If you have not talked about price with your customer and you're 15 minutes into the phone call, I guarantee you have a significantly better chance of making a sale than the person that just talked for 4 minutes to their customer for the first time. Now, one of the more important things, like I said, I believe in sales scripts. I don't believe in robotic sales scripts. I don't believe in having someone with no talent that doesn't add what they're supposed to the sales scripts, but I 100% believe in sales scripts because here is the 2 traps that salespeople fall into. Open-ended questions versus either-or questions. Now, both of these belong in a phone call. Both of these belong in the process of talking to a customer. You cannot go through a proper sales process with a customer and not ask both types of these questions. But you can absolutely butcher a phone call if you enter one of these at the wrong time. Okay? So what's an example of an open-ended question? A good open-ended question. What do you do for a living? Right? Open-ended should almost always relate to rapport building. So any question that would build rapport with the customer should be the type of open-ended question that you ask. What do you do for a living? Why are you buying this? How long have you guys lived there? Why'd you guys move down here? Those kind of things, right? That is the kind of question you want to ask because when you're asking an open-ended question, the intention of that is to have the customer elaborate and go into about themselves, about their life, because you're trying to build a connection with that person. That is the entire goal. Versus an either-or question, okay? Let me give you an example where open-ended is put in the wrong spot in like 90% of sales calls and where it should be an either-or style question. Let's say I work at Henry Motors, okay? Thank you for calling Henry Motors. This is Nick. How can I help you today? Okay? That is an open-ended question, and that would be the worst time to put an open-ended question there. Because what's going to happen is the customer is about to rattle off and just drop a word salad on you, and you're going to spend the next 5 minutes reeling back the conversation. Versus if you ask a different style of question right there, thank you for calling Henry Motors, this is Nick, and you are, what is their option when you say, and you are, versus how can I help you today? Okay. Now that's not technically an either or question, but an either or question is going to get you the same style. The point of an either or question with a customer is to let them feel like they are making the choice, but you're selecting the options. Okay. So cars is the easiest one to talk about. So let's just say cars. Let's say, are you looking for 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive? Are you looking for a car, truck, or SUV? Right? You are deciding what the options are. The customer is getting to choose what they want. So they still feel like they're in control of the conversation. They still feel like they're taking part of the conversation, but you're getting allowed to, as the sales professional, to guide the conversation where it could be. This is why I say a proper sales script is deadly, and it is necessary if you're going to exclusively sell over the phone. For the dealerships that I've seen be successful, okay, the first one that I was ever at that exclusively sold over the phone, no lot traffic whatsoever, versus other ones that I've seen that were similar sizes, everyone was trying to adapt to learn how to sell in the digital age. No one is trying to rely just on lot traffic anymore. Everyone knows you're going to have to get on the phone with customers. You're going to have to be able to sell on the phone with customers, and that's going to require a good sales script, 100%. Now, like I said, you can have an amazing sales script, but have someone that's totally off on the day that sounds like Eeyore and does a 2-minute phone call, and that doesn't mean that your amazing sales script is going to work. Okay, that's why I've got 4 parts for you here, because you really need these 2 phases to be a part of your process for this to work over here. Now, when you have a sales script that does have a lot of either or questions in there, 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, lighter or darker colors, diesel or gas, long box or short box, those kind of questions that guide it down so that you can gather the information that you need to about the customer, right? During that process, there should be some open-ended questions that get asked. Now, do you want to ask an open-ended question about price? Do you want to ask an open-ended question about the vehicle? No, because you want to guide the conversation where it's supposed to go. I do want to ask them an open-ended question randomly throughout the process that has to do with where they live, why they live there, those kind of things. What do they do for a living? Because the more you can get the customer to talk, the more you're going to build a relationship with them. The more you can build a relationship with them, the more that you're deconstructing the sales relationship that you currently have, because you want to build an actual relationship there. That's the entire point of what you're trying to achieve. Okay, I will take someone that understands how to talk to people 10 times over someone that has the most product knowledge in the world. I have seen some people at dealerships and other things that are just full of product knowledge to the gills, but they have no clue how to talk to people. If you can get these kind of processes down on the phone, you absolutely will be able to learn how to talk to people, and it'll help you build relationships with them. Later on, you can learn the product knowledge. Okay, I will take this over product knowledge any day of the week. Now, if you learn how to construct this stuff in the right spot, which I don't know how you're going to construct this without a proper sales script. A sales script is not meant for you to be a robot. A sales script is meant for you to have a place to fall back onto in the conversation when you get lost. Maybe 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 conversations that you have on the phone with random people that are calling in, okay, or random people that you're contacting, is it going to be a conversation where you automatically click and things just go smoothly? About 70% of the time, you're going to get lost in the phone call at some point in time because you haven't truthfully built a relationship with this person yet, and that's okay. When you have a proper sales script in place, it allows you to have some either or questions, some different places to fall back into that allows you to kind of regain control of the phone call. But if you were to ask me what's the most important of the 4 here, I would say you need to start with enthusiasm, 100%. If you do not have enthusiasm on your phone calls, if you sound like freaking Eeyore on the phone, the rest of this doesn't matter, okay? If you crush open-ended questions and either or questions where they properly should be, but you do it all within inside 2 minutes, it's irrelevant, okay? So if you can have enthusiasm, a longer phone call with customers, ask good open-ended questions at the right time that's going to allow you to build rapport with your customers, okay? That's what you want. That's what every time you think of an open-ended question, you should think of rapport building. That's 100% what should correlate to. And if you can do the good fact-finding either or questions, I would say that is how you construct it. There's not one of them that's more important than the other, but as sure as heck, if you eliminate some of them before you get to the next step, it's going to be absolutely irrelevant. Now, talking on the phone can be very intimidating to some people. I like to remind people that, hey, what's the worst that's going to happen here? Rejection in person can be kind of brutal. Rejection in person can really hurt because you're seeing the person's facial expressions. They got their wife sitting beside them or whatever it is. It can hurt a little bit more, but what's the worst that's going to happen to you on the phone? Someone tells you no. Someone happens to go off and tell you to F off. I mean, we're not ever trying to be rude. I'm not ever trying to lie to someone. I'm not ever trying to push someone to a certain point. But if you're following a proper process like this, what's the worst that's going to happen to you on the phone? Lose the fear you have over the phone. And I know a lot of people get it. And just follow a process. That's the whole point of having a process. That's the whole point of me saying 70% of the time you're going to need something to fall back on because conversations can get awkward. And that is what it is. Remember that you're choosing to be in the sales world. This is something that I have told my sales teams time and time and time again. You are choosing to be in the sales world. This is the profession you have chosen. It can absolutely 100% change your life. The people that I've seen it make past certain marks, a year, 2-year mark, they're never going to get out of this world. This has revolutionized and changed how they make money, what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. Now, there was a lot that I broke down in this video for you guys here, okay? And each one of these boxes could be its own 30-minute video. I have a limited amount of time trying to make a video and have it be all inclusive in one. If there's something specific in this video that you guys want me to elaborate on, if you want me to elaborate on building a phone script, if you want me to elaborate on types of questions, enthusiasm, however you want to do it, okay? If there's something that sparked your curiosity, let me know down in the comments. The best feedback I can get from you guys is from the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.